Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Test Podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and this podcast may contain some explicit language. You can find us everywhere you find podcasts. This episode is about the people that found us and decided to leave comments and let us know how they felt about the things that we said throughout the week.
Yay! I don't know why that bothers me.
What bothers you? What's going on?
You telling people that we is cussing. You know it was an E on there. I don't understand.
Well, listen, I just want to be like the big professional podcast to make all the money, okay? We don't charge our guests to come on. We're already making a lot of mistakes. So anyway.
That's the road to money? Okay, my bad.
You can find all the stuff about the show in the comments. In the show notes, and that's how you leave comments and feedback and all that stuff. I say, look, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, you know why you came. Let's talk about the people that gave us money. That's right. New day, new pay. Let's talk about this money. Tiffany B. Thank you. Jane M. We got a one-time donation from Darren M. Thanks, Darren. In the new members class. Go visit. Just visit it. Shirley Wong Esquire. Please say the Esquire. Lindsay B. Jeff F. We got Palmetto Stone Magic. Mr. Span from the Span Report podcast, Alfonso M, Autumn W, James C, Jasmine J, David C, Unbridled Love, Dr. Professor Bambi, Kevin W, Girl Falcons Diva, Jason F, Ken M, and lastly we have Derek LW. Thank you very much, everybody. Take time out to give us that money. We love the money. Okay, we are black capitalists over here. We're not trying to hurt nobody. We just want our money. That's all. And y'all make sure that we are worth it. Thank you. All right, let's do it. Let's talk about 5-star reviews. We got a few. I believe we got 3 new ones.
Yay!
I don't think I got to read this other one because it came in on the 6th. Yeah. Rod and Karen doing the work for the people. Actually, I may not have even read this one from the 5th. I'm not sure. I'm gonna just read
right because they come in all types of ways.
Y'all are the bestest. I'm a Spotify user, but I came all the way over here to leave this review. I found the Blackout Test way back in the early days of COVID by Googling best black podcast to listen. The Blackout Test came up alongside Keep It and The Read. I gave all shows a fair listen for a while, but something about the Blackout Test just kept me coming back for more. It may be the sugar grits debate or the rightful slander of Arby's. Probably. Those other shows are cowards compared to us. Our advocacy.
We talk about the real issues.
Specifically, my advocacy, because Karen sells me out every time.
I do.
But my advocacy against sugar grits and Arby's is where that our show has integrity that these other shows don't have. Maybe it's Karen's passion and infectious laugh, or is it the fact that when they do the Walking Dead recaps, I don't know. But it's for all above and more. This is such a great podcast. Rod and Karen deserve all of God's flowers. Thank you. Can't wait for the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
We got this one from Trey Victory 1. And it is Rod and Karen doing the work for the people. Rod and Karen, this is on our Sport Movie Reviews podcast.
Yay.
You read those over here too. Rod and Karen movie reviews are so thorough and on point. Thank you too for being so straightforward with your reviews. Y'all also get straight to the point and it shows. Thanks, Trey. Thank you. This one is from Him Deal, who says, thanks, K-Rod. Promise. I thought I wrote a review, but clearly I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But that's okay. So I'll post another one because, well, I like y'all.
Thank you.
Let me first say I appreciate you both, your energy, your time, your podcast, and the steps we put in together each day while I listen to you folks on my walks to and from work. You all really do love on people and Black people, especially through your podcast. I love hearing your concerns, thoughts, frustrations, love, acceptance, and commentary on the week's goings on. Even while I don't always agree with you at all times, which is surprisingly right, I respect the opinions, and it gives me a different perspective on things I have not considered. Yeah, I always make, whenever someone mentions this, I always have to go and say, like, I would assume so, right? Like, we're giving a couple of hours sometimes of thoughts in a day, 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
There's no human on this earth that y'all can listen to and always agree with. I mean,
We don't even always agree with each other.
yeah, like, it basically can go unsaid, at this point. Like, yeah, I don't expect that we're running a cult.
Oh no.
So I assume, and I think the thing for me has been, like, I think in the age of the internet, what's been exposed is so many people do expect 100% agreement
And compliance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think,
and don't challenge me, or don't think of anything outside of what I've said, and what I've said is law is a problem.
yeah, and I hope that our podcast has given some people some room to have a place that's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying we're 100% open to any and everything. There's a lot of shit I don't stand for and wouldn't want to even have those things around me, but there's a bunch of stuff that I think, I don't know, people that are well-intentioned and like-minded should be able to discuss, even when they don't agree, be able to have opinions even when they don't agree, and ultimately feel like, yeah, we can still listen to each other and work together. I think that's still possible. And and outside of social media, I don't think that's that outrageous a thing to say.
Right.
You all ask indirectly that I think about things, which I also appreciate because I remained engaged. Finally, you all have inspired me to give podcasting a try using Anchor, and I started one so I, as a cisgender Black man, we do have feelings, could have another place besides therapy to express my feelings, emotions, and show that mental health awareness and cares for us too. I call it Okay, I'm Ready, and I'll be ready to listen to you all several times a week. Yeah, good luck with that. I haven't checked it out yet, but
because this room, I tell everybody, this room for everybody.
Also, I love when people start their own shows, because and it's a little bit like how I imagine parents are when they have kids, and the kids, tell them all the shit that they didn't do right. And the parents are like, okay, wait till you have kids. And definitely I feel that way about podcast stuff, because I'm like, you might think we not, like, oh, it's easy what they doing, or just putting your opinion out there. If they would have said this instead of that, and then you get to feel it yourself, hopefully, if you get enough attention and enough feedback, a lot of times you realize, like, oh, that's why they phrase shit the way they do. Oh, that's why they kind of, have to be a bit more thoughtful, because they have to prepare for the fact that they will have feedback that's going to have people that agree or disagree or whatnot. But yeah, and I think, it's become like a taboo thing to say, but I don't think it should be. But there's a lot of cisgender Black men that need spaces too. Like, is like all that stuff with therapy and these group dynamics and counseling and all that, friendships. That's not just something that's only germane to LGBTQ people, or germane to Black women or Black, like, I think a lot of spaces could link up like that. It's just, can you find the people and work the space in a place to make it not toxic and to everybody, and make it an inclusive space and a healthy space? And that's the hard work, because cisgender Black men, cishet Black men specifically, we have a lot of conditioning to undo, as does everybody. But we have a lot of conditioning that we have to fight through to even have healthy relationships and be vulnerable, and what that looks like.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things that sometimes people see marginalized people and they think, well, they got their groups. Well, everybody needs a group. Like, no, we all are social creatures, and we all need a group, even if it's nothing but a small set of friends. You need somebody to talk to. And if you're married, outside your significant other, somebody you can talk to, relate to, do things with outside of your spouse. And people underestimate the the power of having somebody to talk to that has had some of the similar life experiences. But being a straight woman, we're kind of trained to use our words from a child. Use our words, be kind, be gentle, be all these things, and put yourself on the back burner. Most sit men are taught almost the opposite. Like, be loud. It's all about you, and what you say goes. And so it's almost like they have to kind of learn things that for a lot of women is all for most of us is there. As far as most women, even if it's one other person, they have somebody they could talk to outside of their mate. Most do. They have somebody that they could get up with. But like, girl, let's go talk. A girl, let's go out to eat. Girl, let's go drink. But what I realized, not all, but with a lot of men, they really don't have those circles and those friends. They do, but it's kind of different. It's like, yeah, we'll drink and we go out. But when it's time to talk about the real shit, like the shit like, hey, dog, my heart got broken, or, and, you know, it's not no, hey, dog, let's go drink and fuck these bitches. They're like, no, dog, my heart's hurting, and let's actually talk about this because I'm actually going through some shit. I've realized over my lifetime, for a lot of men, they don't get that till they get older because they've actually lived life long enough. A lot of men don't even tell their friends that they love them or that they care about them and shit like that until they get older. You know, it's rare that you see a lot of young men actually do those things, and that's because of patriarchy, and you consider soft, or, you know, Lord forbid, for a lot of them, you know, they feel like you consider quote unquote gay, you know, with homophobia and all that stuff that runs rapid. And I think a lot of those things need to be broken. And like you said, it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of men calling out other men on their bullshit. But just like any other group, everybody wants to be accepted, you know. So when shit happens and your homies and your friends have these all fucked up views and perspectives, a lot of times they go, well, that's his business. You know, they just let it be, versus actually be like, hey, dog, you know, are you feeling okay? Is everything all right? We could talk about this. Because for a lot of men, they've never been taught how to deal with emotions. They always associate emotions with women. Like, emotions make you weak. If I'm not mad, if I'm not angry, if I'm not cracking these jokes, it's almost like outside of those three emotions, a lot of men don't tap into these other things. And then men that do, and they actually are balanced, a lot of men act like there's something wrong with these men, that they are actually balanced. They actually have nuance. They actually have feelings. They actually care about things. They actually don't bottle things up and just burst out at the family and the kids and the woman, just beat and whoop everybody's ass. And people go, well, men aren't emotional. Yes, they are. They just express these things in different ways. And I feel like if a lot of men had people to talk to and people to turn to, people that they trust, they wouldn't joke them and still, quote unquote, make them feel manly. Because they're, you know, I feel like a lot more men will be a lot better place sooner in life, and they wouldn't have to wait till they was 40 and 50 and 60 to tap it. And you got people that are that age that still are harboring these things, and they don't know how to deal with these things. But one good thing I could say about the younger generation of men is that they're more apt to be like, hey, dog, that ain't right, or let's go to therapy. You know, they're more apt to be open to those things. Yes, you do have some that aren't, but a lot more of them, particularly the younger generation, are more apt to be open to those things, which I think would actually benefit everybody, so that you can have empathy and sympathy and understanding and compassion to your significant other, particularly if you're in a straight marriage, or your mate, when she say things about men and you don't take that shit personal, like she's making a personal plight against you and it's the end of the world. You know, you just can't understand, you just can't comprehend because you never thought about it, you never considered those things.
Yeah, I think well, we don't know what kind of podcast this person is gonna make or what their views are. They do say they disagree about certain stuff, so we don't even know that that's the kind of space they're gonna make. But I think, you know, the other part is you have to continue to make the podcast. So, you know, for us, we've been doing this so long, you know, it's like secondhand. But when you first starting out and it's hard to get replies and responses and feedback, sometimes you feel like you're talking to yourself, and sometimes it's hard to keep that thing going. And then also, like, I understand the need for spaces where you have like men and they work shit out, because a lot of times, to me, the resentment of having other people in the space, it's hard for people to get over. So if you're a person bringing energy into, like, I've been dealing with men my whole life, and, you know, this is all the bullshit I've had to deal with, it's kind of hard to have a space where the other people can be vulnerable. It's like whenever we would cover those workshops about anti-racism, and it would be like, a white person talking to white people, and some jealous black people normally in those spaces would be mad, like, how come such and such getting all this attention? And I was like, because they're not going to hear it from you. So we have two choices, really. The people that are going to be reached by you, who are not these people, or they'll be reached by another person, and it's probably going to be one of these white people that work in this space. And the third choice is no one gets reached.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's just, and you don't even need to be in the room and see what's happening in there, to be honest, because it's probably going to be triggering. It's probably going to suck, and you're not being paid to do it. So it's that kind of thing where I think in this type of space, there's a bit of that resentment that might come in. So I recognize there are some spaces where you probably do want to have men guiding men. There's a bunch of places and workshops and stuff that are happening around this already, because there's just a litany of pitfalls. And sometimes the best person to even call you out on some shit has to be another dude that has experienced some of this shit, to be like, hey, that, I've experienced it myself, where I've said something to somebody, and the reason I know they listen to me is because I'm a dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something that, it's just something I've read somewhere, or something that I know or heard, or something I believe that I know other people believe that aren't men. But until I said it, they didn't want to hear that shit. Thank you, Rod and Karen, for all you put out into the world each week and helping this brother combat the onslaught of mess that is part of my lived experience daily. Here's to another 40K plus steps this week. Lace up. Oh, enjoy them steps.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, this is from Ifran, who says, Black Brilliance. My life has been flipped upside down since I found the Blackout Tips podcast. Shout out to JL Calvin. You both are so entertaining, from the different segments, i.e. guest the race, sword ratchetness, random thoughts, to your feedback episodes. I'm so down with your cause. I lived in Charlotte for 12 years, so it's great to have some connection back again. You drop the knowledge in a way that makes me clap, Rod. Oh, thank you.
Aww.
Insert Coming to America's sexual chocolate. He good scene. Thank you.
That's hilarious.
Karen's laugh is music to my ears, as well as her hot takes. So glad I found this pod. I wish it was sooner, but that just means I have a lot of catching up to do. I just love y'all so much. Mwah, Ifran. Thanks, Ifran.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody who took the time out to write in to the 5-star reviews.
Thank you. Keep them coming.
We definitely want to encourage people that other people out there to leave those 5-star reviews for us.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of reviews, our last feedback show, we got 4 comments, and let's talk about them. Episode 2577, Homemakers versus Home Wreckers. Pretty Tomboy says, hey Rod and Karen, apologies, I should have been more clear. I definitely am including women in the Black Panther. So Pretty Tomboy wrote about the lack of Black women protagonists in the Marvel universe.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately I agree with her. I just for a second I just was thrown for a loop, because I was like, don't Black Panther got a lot of Black women in it? But they're not the main people yet,
right?
So I see myself so much in those women, so yes. And I was talking about the lack of Black female leads in the MCU. Every Black woman is a supporting character, and up until this point I've been okay with that, because we're still being portrayed really well. I'm just sick of Black men centering themselves when they do have representation. It's ridiculous. Yes,
I agree.
I really don't. I don't want to rehash. We talked about this ad nauseum last week, but I just don't get that whole T'Challa movement, and I just think those dudes are those dudes are too much. Like, I don't see why they made it. I don't know why they had to pick this hill to die on. Also, I knew you didn't support E-Mans. I saw your face on the video. Someone else told me that on Twitter. I'm excited for Black. There was like, that's one thing about Rod. I could tell by his face when he's not here for some bullshit. And I was like, I didn't even know it was on my face. But
right?
I absolutely would.
I know my face be showing shit.
I'm excited for Black women in the future MCU, but for now, I fiercely support every single woman in Black Panther, Monica Rambeau, and Miss Marvel until we catch a lead spot. It is important for little Black girls too, but I know y'all know that. Thanks again, fam. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And like, so this is the other thing too. I think I would like people to not even, I'll put it this way. I suspect people say little kids when they mean themselves.
Yes.
Even if it's the little kid inside of you.
Correct.
But even E-Man and all those type of dudes that say like the little Black boys need the Black Panther, they mean them. They need the Black Panther. Little kids don't really, little kids, that's not the end all be all for a little kid's experience on the earth is.
Right.
Whether or not a Black man was Black Panther in the sequel to Black Panther, after the actor died. Like, oh, like no kid is like, I saw the first Black Panther and I felt seen, and then in the second movie I was so confused that it was a woman Black Panther, I suddenly became a bad kid and got sad.
You want me to tell you what? As somebody who spent a whole week and a half watching that trailer, I probably played it hundreds of times. Mm-hmm. You know who was crying? Grown ass people. Now, one of these videos was somebody young, like children. So yes, you are talking about adults.
We're not seeing little kids make these points. It's all adults. Abia says, I want to apologize for my remark about Beyonce. Good, as you should. The remark was that she is a great artist, but I like Radiohead more. After long consideration, I apologize that I said other artists exist. They don't really. It's Beyonce's world. I haven't listened to her album yet, but I give it a 20 out of 10 possible points. She is a goddess without any flaws, and I'm glad I get to live on the same planet as her.
Come on, breathing the same air. Come on through.
I'm sure when I said I like Radiohead, I was racist. They are white, of course. Of course, I give my money to the white man. I'm probably as bad as the MAGA women. As long as you say about yourself first.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you your beehive kit. It will be coming soon. So you are part of the hive, baby.
I'm going now to the basement to hit myself and to read about Beyonce all day. Maybe to build a small Beyonce altar. That's smart. As long as I don't cross the line to cultural appropriation. Wish me luck, or better don't. I, as a white woman, don't want to tell you what to do. And I haven't listened to the album yet because my white ears don't deserve it. Exactly. That's a much better comment. I'm glad I got you together and you didn't listen to Karen when she was trying to give you all that damn running cover for you like Missy Ann. Let's let Karen get it out of her system now.
That's funny. I can laugh.
Sofa King says, what was it I heard him to say on y'all show a couple weeks ago? Welcome to 40. Well, welcome to 43, nigga. Talking about how gassed you were when you went to play basketball. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess the last time you took an extended break from hooping, whether due to injury or whatever else, was significantly before the panorama, which would mean before you turn 40. That shit hit different, don't it, nigga? First of all, you sound a little too fucking giddy.
You getting up there in age, you old ass man.
Yeah, y'all.
I mean, you taking it personally. It was not a personal attack. I'm sorry, not against you.
But yes, definitely. Like last time I had to take an extended break. First of all, I've never taken a break this long from basketball.
Not this long.
Like honestly, if we want to compare it to the first thing, was probably when I went to go try out to play basketball when I was 15, and I was just starting to get over asthma, but not completely. And I damn near like died at that first practice and was like, I'm not ready for this yet. It felt like that level of like, just, oh my God, my lungs, and yeah, so I was like, I don't even know why I tried to just hop back in like that. But I needed to see where I was at.
Right.
But yeah, you're right. It definitely sucked though. And then the only extended break I took from basketball in the course of the next 20 years or so was just when I fractured my ankle. I had to take like 12 weeks off, but that's not even close to. Pandemic's been going on like almost 3 years now.
Yep.
So I'll just honestly, maybe when we get this next round of vaccines for the Omicron variant or something, maybe.
Right. That's a maybe.
Yeah, so we'll see. But until then, I'm gonna be hitting this VR, getting my heart rate up that way.
I did it today, and it was fun.
Yeah. And so then the poll was, do you think Will Smith's apology was genuine? Yes or no? 87.5% say yes, 12.5% say no. And the reason I thought this was interesting is because we listen to Keith and the Girl, and over there it's been like, Will Smith's a piece of shit. He definitely didn't mean it, and is not genuine, blah blah blah, with a lot of their fans and whatnot. And so I was like, I wonder, are we out to lunch saying that That was probably about as that's like to me that's about as genuine an apology as a person can make into a camera.
Right. That's
Like it's
yeah. Like I said,
like you're not unless you catch this nigga like in his house, not knowing he being recorded, you're not really gonna get anything quote unquote real because it's an actor with a like even social media, even when people tweet shit, it's still like for an audience. So it's all this shit is for an audience, and unless him and Chris Rock sit in a room together, it's about as much as we're gonna get. So I don't know. I personally was leaning towards it being like genuine or at least genuine enough. Um
yeah, because we've heard the apologies out there, y'all.
Yeah.
You know, we've heard them, and we actually talked to them, and like I told them on the show, there's nothing he can do. Your mind is already made up. So okay.
I mean, I've heard worse. I've heard to me, I've heard shittier apologies. Like if y'all were offended, like those kind of apologies. And I think to me, I treat it as a separate category than what he did. I think
I heard
we've all heard
the double down, the kiss my ass, the you know.
Well, those wouldn't even be
offended.
Those wouldn't even be apologies, right? But I've heard the like to me apologies that clearly are like, I'm not gonna say anything that I did wrong. I did, I'm not gonna say I wouldn't, like I'm just saying sorry so that I can have my next thing and move on. And for him, it sounded like, I don't know, it sounded more genuine to me. So if he fooling people, then he fooled me.
Yes,
do you think Will Smith apology was genuine? 95% of the people with money on Spotify, so it's even higher. 5% no. So I don't know. I guess our whole audience is stupid. Easily fooled. All right, boy, you guys are really into VR porn, huh? That was the comment. Nope, X videos is fine by me, says Nelson. Wait, so for horn, leg, horn, not black? What? Oh, fog. Oh, you talking about the chicken?
Yes.
Yeah, foghorn leghorn is not black. You can't tell from his fucking voice. I'll say now, boy. I say like, come on.
Sound like
man.
A general.
Leash says no, you're nasty. No, you're nasty. How I'm nasty? Y'all the one telling me to watch the porn, not me. I ain't watch no porn in my VR headset. Jane says I'm not in the VR porn at all. Maybe it's the Gen X in me for that. By the way, I wonder who was that one person who voted yes on visiting the plantation. JL Covan, perhaps?
Oh no.
Wow.
Shots for no reason.
Fired. What is JL
minding his own business and taking a shot?
What has JL Covan done other than not think that Ava DuVernay's movie about Martin Luther King was Oscar nomination worthy when it first came out? Huh? What has he done? I mean, what has this man done other than denigrated Black Panther at every chance and worship the white man's Dark Knight as if it was some type of modern day cinema classic that only the white man's cold ice could make? What has he done to make y'all feel that he would say some shit like this? Wow. Sandy says it's no is you or is you ain't my baby, Tom. You don't remember when his cousins pulled up to help fight Jerry? Also, no to the point. LOL. Tom being a black cat. No, because his cousins felt, I don't know.
It's like his cousins almost felt black.
His cousins felt, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe Tom was passing. Because his cousins was black. His cousins was black, and he definitely didn't want nothing to do with them. And he definitely always hated, because they may have showed up to help fight Jerry, but in that one episode, but it was a lot more episodes where he felt like they was fucking up his good white folks' life. He's like, I'm living in the White House. I got a black maid, and y'all motherfuckers keep showing up trying to eat some fish in the alley and shit, playing that jazz music, and you're fucking it up. So
everybody.
Maybe you're right. Maybe he was like the coon black person.
He may be.
Raphael says, Rod made me laugh so much on this episode that I lost a mega buy of my NFTs. Stop it, Rod. I'll send 2.6% your way. Okay, VR porn though, sweet Lord Jesus bronchitis, I might end up trying it. But good luck. Next episode was 2578, Blackface, Black History. We got 8 comments. Let's go.
Oh, y'all have something to say.
Dizzy Lizzy Gal says, I use grocery delivery apps mainly for my grandparents during the pandemic. I could order and pay and have the groceries delivered so that they didn't have to go to the store. But for myself, I didn't like it because if I ordered produce, sometimes the shoppers would pick great, other times not so much. Low key, high key, it was only a problem when I had male shoppers. I'm just saying.
You know what? And I've heard a big complaint online, and a lot of people have been very angry because it's been hilarious, particularly on Twitter, how they'll be like, I can't find it, send them a picture, and then they'll be like, it's right there. Like, if you don't know how to grocery shop, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, don't tell me you don't have it because you're too lazy to actually find the items that I want. I haven't had that problem regardless of male or female, but I know that that's like a huge complaint that a lot of the men shoppers, they be taking these jobs and they don't know how to grocery shop.
Yeah, I've heard that too. It's very anecdotal. I mean, my worst delivery person when I was in New York was a woman, but I don't know. I never really had the problem with men, but there's also not that much fresh produce in New York, and I don't use the apps when I'm here. So, and personally, I love shopping myself. I like picking out my fruit and stuff on my own since I'm gonna be the one cooking with it. Appia says, with drugs, you have the science name and the brand name. Bebtelovimab is the science name, the ab meaning antibody. No brand name yet. For example, Viagra is the brand name. The science name is sildenafil. Okay, there you go.
Thank you.
She said Aldi has school supplies and they are at least pretty good. Here, pretty good. Now, Aldi is a German company and their Aldi might be different from our Aldi.
That's true. They might be different than ours.
I bought often used stuff. I bought used school bags for both of our kids that were by an expensive brand and in great condition. I got them for less than 50% off the store price. See, we don't even have that option in our Aldi.
Come on, smart shoppers.
Yeah, but in our Aldi, they don't sell used stuff.
No, they don't. No, at ours, you don't. No, you ain't getting nothing used up in Aldi's.
I was raised in rather poor condition and I'm still cautious with money. And now we are homeowners and from this year landlords. Sometimes I still can't believe it. We have one tenant in an apartment we bought. We decided not to raise rent this year for her life is hard enough. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Him Deal says an artist who uses pencils to draw about died in the Broke 5 Broke segment after y'all were joking about taking a test with a number 7 pencil, and the number 7 lead pencil actually has more graphite and is darker on paper than the number 2 and costs more than the number 2. So the number 2 is the basic bitch pencil, not the number 7. Is that premium quality?
Oh, shit.
Much love. Oh,
okay. Oh, I didn't know number 2 was a basic bitch.
I didn't know number 7 was better. I shout out the number. It makes sense. The number is higher. Shout out to number 7. Sean says, well, I wasn't using grocery delivery apps, but my son got COVID 3 days later. My wife got COVID, and now after a week of diligent masking and isolation, I have it too. So grocery delivery apps, here I come until my son is out of 10-day quarantine in 2 days at least. Oh, then you gonna make him go to the store? Apparently Japan's government doing jack shit but preventing non-citizens from returning home and avoiding tests, so our numbers look better than they are, is finally catching up. While this is a country where most people still wear masks, individual action is not enough. There needs to be a coordinated and robust public health response. Yeah, and I'm like I said, I don't even know the level of enforcement the government will have to do to make that work. I don't think America can handle it. And it's interesting that Japan, a place that is culturally a mask wearing place, is struggling even without the coordinated effort. That's right. A lot. That's sad, but just get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated.
With tits or shut the fuck up says, hey Karen, hey Rod, long time first time. Okay. I think, regardless, love this episode, but a particular topic rang out from me. Bear with me. In your discussion regarding Chrissy Teigen, you brought up how she curbed her drinking because, among other reasons, she found herself having arguments on social media after doing a good amount of drinking. Relatable as fuck. Hearing that struck me like a lightning bolt. During Twitter's golden age, 2009 to 2014, I was on it heavy like any reasonably mid-30-something. It recently dawned on me that there was a minor pattern to my engagement. I'd frequently find myself in arguments with a few friends around the same time of the week, either Wednesday or Friday, between 8 and 11 p.m. This is important because this is also when I'd already have half a bottle of wine in me. And I found that when I stopped drinking wine so much, I'd have less meaningless arguments with people. Wild shit. Anyway, I look forward to the Blackout Tips Day. I'll do what I can to support and celebrate with y'all. Thanks again to you and Karen for a great podcast. Thank you.
And the thing is, it doesn't have to be drinking, but for some people, they have things that trigger within them during certain times of the year, certain maybe it might be death, certain times of the month, like whatever it is, and they have these behaviors, but they don't look at this behavior as a pattern. They just go, well, this is just how I am. And they don't realize that if they adapt, adjust, or change, or get rid of these things, or find out what's triggering them, or tap into their emotions. For a lot of people, whenever they go to therapy, their behavior changes, and they be like, wow, I look at this completely different. Yes, because you're actually aware of your actions. I think a lot of people, when they go on social media, because it reflects your personality, whatever you're going through, particularly if you're a person that posts online a lot, whatever you're going through, it will leak in your post. It will leak out in the world, because you're a human being and you can't stay hid forever. Not unless you're a person that is always on, which most of us are not. Most of us don't have these hundreds and thousands of people just following them, behind everything they do. So I am glad that you were aware of it, because you being aware of it caused you to make that change, so that you're not stressing yourself out, you're not worrying yourself, or whatever the case may be. And so a lot of people online, they are not self-aware because they're in the machine. And when you're in the machine and you never actually taken the time to step back and look at how the machine is affecting you, because when you're in the machine, it's everybody else is being impacted by the machine and not me. And if you're on these social media networks, regardless of who you are not above being impacted by the machine. You are not above it. You just think you are, and you fooled yourself to go, this is how it is. But in the reality, some way, shape, form, or fashion, for some people that's a lot, for some people that's small, but you have been impacted by it, whether you want to believe it or not.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we should examine our habits on social media. And I think, at least for my personal experience, has been when I was out on social media the most, and when I was interacting with people the most, it normally was a sign that something else wasn't right going on in my personal life, that would have me out there really giving a fuck about these strangers, or wanting to fight some people verbally, online, when at the end of the day, their opinions didn't really truly matter to me in that way. And it was a distraction from the things that did matter to me, because ultimately, I can't get everyone to agree with me about shit. So I know that rationally when I log in. So why am I obsessed with the idea that this person doesn't agree, and now I want to talk to them more than I would have talked to them, even in real life? If I was in a room at a party and someone said something I didn't agree with, or they came over to me and said, I don't agree with you, in my mind, I'd be like, this is a stranger and I don't care. But online, here I am caring. And I'm glad that you were able to figure that out, because that sucks.
Right. And I think it's a big step. And it's a step that a lot of people are not willing to make, because that means you have to look within, which people don't want to do. That means you have to change, which is something people don't want to do, because we're creatures. Most people are creatures of habit, and all of a sudden causing them to change, even though we teach children. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to change, and however your big ass age is, you've been through all types of changes, but it's really hard to get people to consciously be aware of these changes versus, you just do things, all of a sudden things change around you and you adapt and adjust. It's very different than you actually looking and taking the effort and being aware of your actions, because you're requiring people to do more. And we live in a society where people don't want to do anything. They want to say these things and be on social media because social media makes them feel great, but they ain't really trying to do anything. And I know for me personally, the thing that made me aware about social media, I forgot what the interaction is, but it was somebody had said something. I think I misspelled a word or something like that. And they was like, well, you misspelled this word. And I, quote tweeted back kind of snarkily, didn't call them out, nothing like that. And then I blocked them. And after that transaction, I felt myself getting a high. It was like an unreal amount of energy that was kind of, and I didn't know what to do with this energy. I was like, oh, I don't like this feeling. But for some people, they lean into that feeling and they want to continually get that high. Mm-hmm. So they continually are snarky. And guess what? After a while, just like any drug, you got to go further and further and further and further and further to get that high, which means you got to be nastier and nastier and nastier and meaner and meaner and meaner to get that same high that you did the very first time. And so, like I said, I got that feeling. It was just like all this energy, and I was like, "The fuck is this?" I was like, "Oh, I don't like this feeling." So it made me aware of my actions from that point moving forward.
Yeah, I was one of those people. Sometimes I still feel that way, but it's like you get high on like righteousness, like I'm righteously offended. This is indignant, and you share it with everybody and show like, look at this thing that I said to this person, and so they can like tell you they were right, you were right, or whatever. And I used to do that a lot, like because I didn't realize at the time how much I was feeding into it, because like even giving your opinion is a measured way thing that you should be doing before you do it, right? Like why am I giving everybody my opinion for free on the internet in the first fucking place? Why am I telling you about the inner workings of my personal life? What is even the impetus? What is even the reason for that? And then the idea of, okay, I'm sharing this very personal thing with people that aren't very personal to me, and when they say stuff, I'm taking it personally,
right?
And it's the most impersonal like interaction, but it becomes a very personal interaction. And and then when you like tell them off, disagree, whatever, which is still for an audience, because all this is happening online and people are seeing it, and you're sharing that, or you quote tweeting it, and you're putting it on the different platforms, even that is still kind of like I'm getting high on righteousness. And now I still think that's an unavoidable part of social media. Like, unless you just let someone else operate it or whatever, but because you're going to interact with people, you're going to say stuff. But now I just try to come at it from the spirit that I approach things in life with, which is mostly from a place of humor, comedy, fun, having a good time, wanting to commune, as far as like civil, like to collaborate, to be more collaborative than argumentative. And so it happens a lot less now, but sometimes I look at my old statuses on Facebook and shit, and it's almost embarrassing, and not embarrassing in the way that most people mean, where they're like, I had some fucked up views and I was saying fucked up things. I was like, why was I so focused on sharing my views of like even the good stuff? Why was I so intent on making these strangers see it? Anyway, let's get to the poll. The poll: are you still using grocery delivery apps? Yes, 37.5% on our website. Never really used them. 47% never really used them, and 16% said I had to stop. And then the people with money on Spotify, 23%. So less of these people are still using the grocery delivery apps. 66% said
they're going out and dressing more.
Well, 66% said they never really used them. Which is a 20% difference.
Okay.
And 11% said they had to stop. And what I imagine is that a lot of these people have maids, butlers, assistants. Okay, so they probably did all the shopping for them.
People that could take.
So they don't count that as an app.
Can take care of the minimum work.
Yeah, they're so rich. Rest easy, Mayor Max, was the comment. Katisha says everyone is having a rough time dealing with this tremendous loss. Aaron Gullish says, who's a good mayor? Who's a good mayor? Jane says, if that dog mayor was a German Shepherd, I'm loving moving out of that town immediately. Hashtag good troubles. Raphael says, no surprise that Mayor Max dies as soon as monkeys start fucking up humans who have been offending the monkey god. I need a FOI into his conduct. Records show why the monkeys were about to fuck him up. I don't think that's the same town, Raphael. And Jedamo says, with ivermectin, there was several studies published that showed it worked. But then when scientists asked to see the raw patient data, the math wasn't mathing. But people still believe in the results. All right, yeah, well, that's they right, I guess. It would be funny if Mayor Max, the dog, oversaw like the LAPD or some shit. Like a scandal popped up after his death where it was like, yo, this motherfucker was covering up he was instrumental in covering up a murder. You know.
I mean, was he covering up for the DEA dogs?
Yeah. Episode 20.
Controversy.
Episode 2579. Come through, Merrick. We got 7 comments. Appia says, I unfortunately think you can't have a society completely without police. You can lower the criminal rates with great education, fighting racism, and an overall more evolved society with less police. But there will always be some level of crime, I think. People aren't rational, and some percentage of them is antisocial. I think we need some police, but overall non-killing kind. The police in Germany kills about 10 people a year. In the US, about 1,000. We have less citizens, so it would be about 40 people here if I take the 10 and multiply with 4, so it can be done. Yeah, you know what else y'all probably don't have? So many armed citizens where we have more guns than people.
Right.
One of the things with this with our society, like, you know, I'm not trying to turn it into a police defense podcast, because I really, you know, we talked ad nauseum about how much we think policing in America is fucked up. But some of the shit that the problem stems from is just we can't have a society with this many guns, and then the people that are supposed to protect us, quote unquote, also have to use a gun as the main tool, because they can always use the fear of the gun. That's what all that I was afraid for my life shit is. It's just the idea someone could have a gun is enough that I can just kill them.
Right.
You know, which is insane to think about. But yeah, our society's fucked up, and it's not gonna just end because we go into denial about the realities of things that we just don't like. It's very inconvenient to think about how people feel about crime and how people feel about being victims of crime, and until you change that part of it, you're not, all this pie in the sky shit is just me and my friends talking to each other, making ourselves feel better about shit that is never going to change, but we all get to say we were right about it, knowing that we won't even be able to make it better as long as we go, that's not good enough, and then we opt out of anything that's positive.
Right.
And you know, with the activists and stuff like that, I think social media has really shown us that they're human, so there's a reason to not listen to almost every activist on a personal level, and there's a reason to listen to them on a work professional level. And you know, it seems like we're just playing musical chairs with which activists are claiming to speak for the people at the time, but I highly doubt that the social media activist is, and even the social media activist politician is as popular offline as they are online. And the things that feel like they're a mandate online do not seem to be that way in real life. MD Aria says, man, I've been so disappointed in the way folks have been clutching their pearls about Trump getting a no-notice search warrant for his house. I have a few friends in the legal system, and they said that you get a no-notice warrant on a former president. Oh, to get one on a former president, you must have been doing some fuck shit. So all this hemming and hawing by the media lately is just tiresome. Yeah, there's a lot of like, so we just believe in the FBI now. It's like, yes, nigga, because we seen all the other shit. It's not like just Trump was chilling. He was a normal president. There were no January 6th hearings. There was no insurrection. There was no him trying to steal the election. And just like, this isn't like Joe Biden and them trying to get President Carter or some shit. You know what I mean?
It's just very frustrating.
They're not running up on Bill Clinton. Right. Like, this dude is what? Yeah, I just don't see how y'all don't have that same energy. And Merrick Garland was right when he said that he put that memo out because motherfuckers folded. They folded so fast. They're already kind of making cover for Trump, and it's not. And I don't watch or listen to any right wing media, so I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people that's supposed to be the good people, the people supposed to be quote unquote on our side, the people that claim to be like either liberals or progressives or Democrats or some shit like that, and they always do this. They always do this shit. Meanwhile, I'll keep. I
wonder what he's gonna do today. I wonder what he's gonna do tomorrow. This guy's just pissing. He's pissing all over us. He's pissing on you. What does it taste like? Cheap pussy tastes like, because you know what? It tastes like piss to me.
That's what I feel. But yeah, second off, this is also why Merrick shut the fuck up. Folks are gonna assume the worst of Merrick if he even said anything publicly. Even now, after moving in silence for 2 years, they still are acting like this was politically motivated. Yeah, man. Like, God, like, we knew this would be Trump's only defense, is that it's a witch hunt. And God forbid if there was really a bunch of sound bites out there, Merrick Garland saying we're coming for Trump, because this media that we have would have been using those quotes to justify saying it really is, Trump is right. They're coming after him for no reason. We have had the most unethical president ever, and we're still acting like he ain't never done no illegal shit that will warrant this. Fuck these white liberal ass media people. Won't ever catch me defending Rachel Maddow or Chris Hayes. After 2016, I still been side-eyeing them, especially Chris with his Trump will be to the left of Hillary by the end of the general election in 2016 ass. Yeah, they be wrong. I'm not listening.
Yeah, and they're doing things for ratings. And once you understand that, you understand why they do what they do. They make a lot of money to keep you tuned in. They make a lot of money to keep eyeballs on their screen. They make a lot of money to do these things.
Yeah.
And guess what? When you cover things 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, out on slow news days, you're like, give us something, give us something, give us something, give us something, because we don't have anything to talk about. And so, anything is good. And like me and Roger said before, they love Trump. Even though they bashed him, they still loved him because he was fucking content. They are fucking goddamn bored to death with the president and the vice president right now.
Merrick Garland and Joe Biden bore them.
Yes. And so they were like, whatever it takes to get something cracking and get something popping. We would even make shit up, which they have. We would even make shit up, take things out of context on purpose to get people riled up, to keep them, guess what, clicking in next week, coming back again, because we just need content. We actually don't give a fuck. We just need content.
Yep. But yeah, back to this. I was disappointed but not surprised. Ever since 2016, I've seen the most. Oh wait, I'm sorry. The next comment is from Sandler Agnew. These political wonks really see reality as a game, huh? Sigh. Oh, Rachel Maddow, so smart yet so oblivious to a scorpion smiling in your face, because you cannot fathom the fact that Tucker Carlson is a bad person. Nice people of all walks of life, but like all kinds of folks, they're worse than those explicitly rooting for mayhem, while our side, particularly white liberals, say all the right things, but come to whiteness, even under the worst circumstances, Jon Stewart, Chris Hayes, Maddow, Sink Ugger, yes, he's Turkish, but was once a Republican and has one bankroll in the Young Turks. So yeah, it still counts. And Michael Moore, etc. I was disappointed, but not surprised. Even 2016, ever since 2016, I have seen most white liberals' personalities in much different light. Sort of like Doctor Strange going through all the millions of possibilities towards the end game and solution. Fact of the matter is, despite their best interest in bettering the world, without the outrage that drives political outrage, they are, besides enabling dead-eyed projecting hated Dems, thinly veiled pieces of shit. Maddow's a smart woman who knows her shit, but her praise of Tucker unfortunately showcases how much she really doesn't care about the world or people that don't look like her. Yes, she's a lesbian, but that's a massive blind spot for a liberal. You know, it's that thing when someone's personally integral to your career, and there's a level of just gamesmanship, co-worker, colleague, cordiality, whatever you want to call it, that it's not just that she has it, because I think that's a lot of people, have that kind of thing in them. I think it's that on multiple occasions when it's been brought up or she's brought it up, it seems like she kind of thinks it's like a badge of honor. Like, look at me. I'm emotionally separated enough from what he does to give him his credit and say he's a nice guy. Maybe even I think I'm hurting him a little bit by saying that he's been nice to me. Maybe it'll hurt him with his audience. And I'm like, the time for that shit is so over. And I think after 2016, I just don't know how you think that's I don't know. I don't get it. I'm glad I don't have to do that TV show because I just don't understand how she can do that show every night, say the stuff she says, and then come to this conclusion that being pals with Tucker Carlson, or not even pals, it's not being cordial with Tucker Carlson is some sort of like laudable thing or something to mention or something to be proud of. I think it's disgusting.
And at the end of the day, it all boils down to whiteness, and
Yeah.
that's why. And I try to find a lot of black people don't get these positions because guess what? We're not going to give white people the benefit of the doubt, and they don't want you out there talking to their majority white audience, telling them y'all fucked up. These things are fucked up. Everything's fucked up. No, I'm not giving no benefit of the doubt. Yes, Donald Trump. Like they don't want that because you know what? That's not good for ratings.
Pretty tomboy, Rod Karen fam, not for nothing, but this Trump raid was so goddamn satisfying, especially since I've been shouting from the mountaintop that Merrick was that nigga. I don't think people know that the DOJ can't talk about anything by law while investigating, and I'm glad about that. Just come out with them facts. Just 10 minutes ago, Merrick did a press conference and literally reached down and put his dick on the table. He talked about the subpoena sent to Trump in the spring, how Trump's lawyer was there on site and released the documents. LOL, Merrick said run up and get done up because Trump was, as usual, talking that ish. This is delicious, but it's going to take a while for real justice to come. We just need to be patient for that. I agree on every point. I watched that press conference that he did, and I loved it because it wasn't like trying to be sassy and get on there and get the media talking. It was just, listen, we are going to open up the warrant so people can see it, see what we've collected, what we were looking for. And also motherfuckers running up on the FBI trying to shoot them and shit. Y'all need to stop making this seem like it's a political attack or a witch hunt because y'all are aiding the insanity of that side where these people fucking came into the Capitol.
Right.
Like they came in the Capitol building. So stop acting like fueling their fire, which are like, I'm just trying to see both sides. Maybe it is a political witch hunt. Stop doing that shit because you're legitimizing conspiracy theorists and insanity, and you're endangering the lives of the people that are working on this case. It's not just a game. Side note, what would have happened if McConnell had not blocked Merrick's appointment? Trump got to wonder. Yeah, that's funny. Also, Rachel Maddow has always given me the fake white ally vibe, so I don't fuck with her, but I did happen to see her talking about those DOJ papers since I live overseas now and get my news from YouTube occasionally, and I agree. All she did was try to stoke fear. MSNBC as a whole is very difficult to watch. Even Joy and Tiffany keep the fear on lock, so I skip it as much as I can. Love y'all. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I can't watch even MSNBC. I hate to be that guy that's like that, but I've said it before. It's so designed to keep you scared and to make you feel like you have to keep watching. And that's not cool. You know, like, nope. I don't need additional anxiety when I turn on my TV. Someone brought up a great point, which I think I'm going to try to do, is watch C-SPAN. So that when I am watching about news, I'm just getting the news.
The facts. And
I don't need.
Yeah, they probably one of the lowest ratings, but they boring. Yes, but what they do is like, this is what happened. This is what happened. Yeah. This is what happened. This is what happened.
Yeah. So I think I might just switch over to that because just off a habit, I've had MSNBC as like, you know, whenever you have your channels that you save, it's one of my saved channels from just way back. Before I realized just how much anxiety they were causing me. And my friends that watch them, they are the ones who text me in the middle of the night shit that I'm like, what? Where's this paranoid shit coming from? And it's always, oh, you've been watching MSNBC. Yeah, they want you to feel that.
Yeah, and it was not always like that. But once the news became less about facts and statistics and things like that, and then it became, hey, we got to be profitable, we got to make money, we got to keep viewers. This is what it escalated to.
I mean, to keep up and compete with Fox News, who is kicking every cable company's ass.
Correct.
When it comes to cable news, I mean, this is what you have to do. So yeah. Let's see. Mary says, yes, Merrick. Being in law enforcement as a DA, Attorney General Kamala, or head of DOJ does not automatically make you the enemy. As you know, I work collecting police violence data, and one of the things we're starting to track are elected officials. If we see movement where violence is getting better or worse, then who are the judges there? Who is the DA there? Here in LA, we voted in a progressive DA over one who had not brought one charge against any officer in the killings of over 340 people in LA County. Hopefully, our new DA, Gascon, doesn't get recalled like that Oakland DA, but since he has a law enforcement background, then hopefully he can navigate bringing reform in better. Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because one of the things that I think Trump was able to, and I feel like this should have showed people a lesson, but it didn't. One of the things he was really able to do was ride the I have no experience, just vibes. And that should make y'all feel good about me, because I have no history for you to pin me down on any issue. Like, even in my, like, because if you can pin me down on something, it's in my personal life, and I can always be like, well, that's my personal life. I wouldn't govern that way. Whereas opposed to a lot of these people, they have experience, and we made experience a bad thing. People made Kamala Harris's experience a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden's 40-something years of experience, bad. Hillary Clinton, her experience, bad. It's bad for her to have experience. You should only, I'd rather have someone with no experience that we don't know what they will do.
No, I don't want no.
I'd rather have them than the person that has ever made a mistake or ever had something that seemed like a good idea at the time, and later we look back and go, not a good idea. I'd rather just have a person that's never done anything. And you can see that happening with some of these DA spots too, where people have been like, let's go with the DA with no history. And unfortunately, some of them got in, tried the radical, like, and I say radical in quotes, but the radical, like, no cash bail, kind of slap on the wrist, rotating door policies, and the hell that is brought upon them in the press, because the press is definitely a wing of this, instilling this white supremacy and instilling fear in the populace. But the hell that is brought on them, they can't really seem to withstand it. Like, when it is like, because unfortunately that's what it's going to be when you lower bail and when you have a kind of a revolving door type of policy with some of this stuff. Unfortunately, you are going to be letting people out who've been accused of multiple sexual assaults sometimes. Yeah, and that person's going to do something that escalates to the point where people get in your voting area, go, hey man, I didn't like this part. Like, just because I wanted people to get out for possession of weed charges, and I said they shouldn't be in jail, doesn't mean I feel that way about someone who's been accused of sexual assault multiple times and continues to be let out.
Right. And it's also one of those things, and I will continue to say that this is what reformative justice looks like. And a lot of people are finding out that shit ain't as popular as everybody claims.
Well, it's not really reformative justice. I don't think it's like, that's a catch-all phrase, but that's not the same thing. Like, the reformative justice is one is it's nebulous as a concept, but it's a lot more community based. It's a lot more people sitting down talking to the offender and stuff. It's very hippy dippy shit that we've had this catch all for, but these DAs and stuff aren't really running on reformative justice. This is just like no cash bail just became like a huge talking point on social media and stuff, and it leaked into real life. But when it's done, people, the media and the citizens seem to be a lot more upset by repeat offenders who continue to offend.
Yes, and when I mean reformative justice, I don't mean reformative justice like you said, it's a catch-all. I'm saying like the leniency, the forgiveness part of it, the we're trying to not be as punitive side of it.
Yeah, I get it. I just actually, it's not even reformative, it's restorative justice. But okay, the point being, I'm just trying to say, like, because I don't want to get no fucking emails later.
Correct.
Where someone's like, this isn't restorative justice. This just because you have lower bails doesn't mean you're doing restorative justice. So I'm cutting it off before it can even get to that, which is why I interjected at that point, because I don't want to get that, because I have done the research and I do know the difference between this and restorative justice. And even with restorative justice, there's not a lot of examples of it happening. And even in the places it's happening, there are people who are dissatisfied with the conclusions that come from restorative justice. There are people that don't want to participate in educating their rapist or the person that murdered their family. They just want them in jail.
Yeah, and they don't want to meet up with them. They don't want to go with the public. Like, they like, nope, you did something to me. Jail is the answer. And what do you do when they were like, well, we center the victim, but the victim say go to jail?
Yeah.
Are you going to disregard that victim's wishes?
Right. It's, anyway, but all that to say, like, you can get that DA. It's just at some point that DA also has to understand the system they're in order to get the results they want, and they need to be able to stand up to the backlash. Kamala Harris barely won re-election when she didn't sentence that dude that killed a cop. She didn't sentence him to the death penalty. She refused to do it, and she almost lost the office because of that. But to me, I was like, that's a principled stance. And there's people online, the Russian propaganda type people, that was trying to spin that as some negative thing. And I was like, he killed a cop. It wasn't like the other option was to walk free. He was going to jail or dying.
Right.
She stuck her reputation on, I would rather let this person just go to jail.
Right.
And she almost lost because of that. And of course the police fucking hate her now. Anyway, all this to say, change from the inside is possible, but we have to have the right people in there. Vote, motherfuckers. Agree.
Mm-hmm.
DC says, I like my news from television boring, so I watch PBS NewsHour and C-SPAN. They have diverse staffing, is relatively straight to the point. Most of the news I get is from reading. My whole government says, I followed this episode with the I followed up this episode with listening to sister-in-law episode about Mar-a-Lago search, and it's reminded me of how significant the media has changed in the last 6 or 7 years. Every week, these women, much like the two of you, get on their podcast, talk directly and clearly about just how ridiculous everything involved with Trump is. And it's just kind of crazy that that's even notable. But it is considering that some of the most respected news outlets continue to give Trump a level of deference and legitimacy that he never deserved. Yes. Like, I hate to say disappointed, because it sounds like somebody out there is going to be thinking to themselves, oh, you surprised? Oh, you shocked? No, I'm not shocked. I'm not really surprised. I actually said it would happen, but it's still this disappointing feeling at just how not up to the moment the vast majority of the pundits covering these stories are. Like, the amount of they're
not relentless.
I don't know. It's Lucy with the football, right? And they're just Charlie Brown. Like, but what if this time Trump is telling the truth? That's how most of this coverage feels. Where it's like, but maybe Merrick Garland did lose his fucking mind, decide to prosecute this for no reason. Bill Maher was trending today with that kind of bullshit. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's you can't depend on these people for shit.
Right.
And I'm not even talking about OAN or Fox News. Just the way that your average political media personality talks about him feels like an attack on truth. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's really kind of just a vibe, which isn't very evidence-based, LOL, but I get the feeling that other people who listen to y'all feel that too. And it takes the blackout tips or sisters-in-law to kind of snap me out of this like alternate media universe, and remember that all of these things that seem awful and ridiculous actually are. And I'm not crazy for thinking that it's not really a debate. I just appreciate you both and all of the content creators and thinkers who have been able to maintain a commitment to the truth and really just decency through the Trump era. Yeah, I really feel like the biggest weapon against Trump and his ilk is the truth.
Yes, that's the whole thing. They have been advocates on killing the truth, because once people know the truth, you can make informed, educated decisions. Once and once people know the truth and stand up in the truth, you're like, no, you need to be held accountable for your actions. Fuck the bullshit you're doing. You need to be held accountable. And it does, like I said, it makes you feel like you're crazy. It makes you feel like something's wrong with you. I'm finding the same thing with the pandemic and monkeypox and all this other shit. Everybody's coming at it from all. You're like, no, the truth is that you need to get vaccinated. Like, there's no if, ands, or but about it. Like, the truth is, the 6 feet to wear the mask. Like, that's the truth. But people believe what they want to believe, and it makes you think you're crazy when you're the one person at the grocery store with your mask on. And I think it's designed to make you feel that way, to make you feel like you're the minority when you're actually the majority. They're actually a very small group, but they're a very loud group.
I just think living living in and discussing stuff based in truth over feelings is just very important at this point, because uh I feel like a lot of the stuff that happened with the hijacking of right-wing politics and the attempted hijacking of the Democratic Party has been about feelings over facts. Like, I feel a certain way, and if enough of us feel that way, it shouldn't matter what the truth is. And I just think it's important for people with platforms, or just important for me personally, that I don't want to get on this show and not distinguish the two, or not at least express, like, you know, hey, this is just how I'm feeling right now, as opposed to saying, what happens. And then also, just, I think with TV stuff, they know that dumbing stuff down, they know that saying stuff in a controversial way, it gets clicks. And just because it's people that we would like to agree with or have been told are on our side, it doesn't make them any different. I said this on Twitter a while ago, and I just retweeted every once in a while, but every Saturday, Bill Maher trends for saying something that is very fucked up about Democrats or marginalized people on the left. Somehow it's fucked up about trans people. It's fucked up about. He knows what he's doing. It's marketing at this point. Every Saturday you can depend on it. This Saturday is the people that something about how Merrick Garland just handed Trump the 2024 election, and something about how people need to stop worrying about diversity in the roles and the casting in Hollywood and shit like that. Like, that's his marketing. That's what he does. That person can't be depended on. I can't look at that guy as like, oh, this is a legitimate person I can go to. Years ago, I didn't think he was on that shit, at least not as hard. I used to watch the show. But at some point he decided, like, I'm making a TV show. You know what gets people to tune in? This shit.
Yes.
It's a TV show. At the end of the day, even if he doesn't know it consciously, subconsciously, he's somewhere going, I got more clicks and more attention and more likes and more whatever the fuck, more ratings when I said blank. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm incentivized to say blank times 2 next week. And so now he's a parody of himself. And I just think that's I don't know. I just think that's a very it's a statement on everything we're going through right now.
Yes, and when you were saying the feelings of a fact, a lot of people reject the truth because the truth ain't always what you like. So people are presented with the truth, and if they go, fuck it,
it don't feel good,
right? And that's the thing; it doesn't feel good.
Everything, that's and for the record, that's why I said, even when you're dealing with the left people, a lot of shit is just feeling good. Biden don't make me feel good, therefore I'm gonna stay home or some shit. And you're like, that's the most dumbest shit ever heard in my life, So the poll: did you sneak some zucchini onto your neighbor's porch, Karen? Wow, 96% of y'all didn't, which means 4% did. Okay, all right. And then
I see y'all out there, ninjas.
On Spotify, 9% did. Wow.
Oh.
I guess y'all had a bunch of leftover zucchini to rich asses.
Yeah, now that I bet you that shit was organic too.
Which means 91% didn't. They even broke into my safe, was the comment. Merrick, Beyonce, Obama, LeBron, Garland, said Music Hoarder. Sean 21 says, that's where I kept my PP tape. Outcastic 1 says, CSI Global Warming, I'm watching it. Come on, CBS, pick it up. Katisha says, what has the world come to when even safe ain't safe no more? Keith says, Merrick Garland is white Omar. He got them shocked. Or shook, probably. Keisha says, whatever. White Family says, my man Merrick, he is invited to the cookout and deserves a big piece of chicken and some yak. Carlitos Way says the Trump voters should take a knee during the anthem in protest of this egregious overreaching government. Fuck the police and defund the FBI. Aaron says, LOL, not your safe. I wish I could have been there with the FBI. I'm dying to know what all they found.
Right.
Mecca says, no, but my neighbor snuck some zucchini onto my porch, if you know what I mean, wink face. I think they might have snuck some eggplant maker, you know what I'm saying?
That's a different emoji.
Ernest says, hey Siri, play 6 in the Morning by Ice-T, then play Celebration, my cooling game. Aaron says, okay, woke as fuck ad. I was wondering where the ads were, LOL. Also, Trump couldn't hide the money. The poor people took it. Hide the money, y'all. J Adamo says, for the alligator story, my friend who grew up in Florida told me that they actually were taught alligator drills. Oh, sorry, Siri over here talking.
Okay,
that's mine.
Okay.
They were taught alligator drills in school. They taught them to run zigzag to go away from a gator. Chris says, Ivana haunting him from beyond. She came out of her unmarked grave at the golf course.
Oh, that's out there in the 18th hole.
Boo-hoo ho, boo-hoo, says Roger. Kay says, let's go swing your big stick, Merrick Garland. That's you.
Yes.
Raphael says, that zucchini and no socks day dude just using claims of inventing holidays to cover his tracks anytime he's visiting his secret lovers. This is why cheetahs got created, to expose the zucchini game.
I had to get on this part. This is the one time I was like, you know what? I think I got something to say too.
Nelson says, I'm playing the world's smallest violin for Trump. Yes. Fuck that guy. Episode 2580, Minnie Mouse Packing Dirt was the title. 2 comments. Appia says, I'm sure what really helps with too many guns is more guns. # logic. Exactly. Now you're thinking like an American.
You got it.
Ramsey says 5 stars for this episode. The poll was, is it a dick or a dress? A dick, a dress, or why not both? 13% say a dick.
Why not both?
27% say a dress, and 60% said why not both. And then when it comes to the people with money, 21% say it's a dick, 32% say it's a dress, and 47% say why not both. And then the comment was, Teepublic selling our store until Sunday. Cop your gear. 2 comments. Yamonti says, I need to hear that Carcasian women soundbite every episode, please and thank you. I'm just glad you like it.
I like with the Caucasian girls. They like to feel on me. I like to feel on them. Double D's. Hey, that's what it is.
And Roger says, did that nigga say Carcasian? Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
He said Carcasian.
He said Carcasian.
Honestly, I was watching people keep going, where did that clip come from? I was watching the old episode of Cheaters. And it's one of my favorite episodes, but they got to the end and this dude is so good.
Mm-hmm.
He is so, and by so good, I mean terrible. He's a horrible coon dude. The sad thing is you feel a little bad for him because he's the one who got cheated on.
Right.
He confronted the woman and she was like one of those kind of unrepentant cheaters and stuff. And you feel bad for him in the moment. Now, we don't know forward 6 months later when he goes back to do his recap and they ask him about his experience on the show. We don't know this man is about to go complete full I'm cooning. The real problem was that this black woman cheated on me and now I'm having sex with nothing but white women.
We didn't see that coming.
Obviously that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But it is also hilarious.
It is.
Matter of fact, let's take time to look at it right now. Okay, let's skip to his part. For his confrontation.
Releases a detailed account of his plans for an unfettered future. But first, Cheater speaks with Lamont Brood, who employed Cheater's
Lamont Brood. I mean, don't he look like one?
Services to uncover his girlfriend's infidelity. Lamont revisits his case and tells us all about what he's been up to.
Lamont Brood, age 26. Lamont walks us through his bittersweet experience on the show.
Well, the first thought go through my head was, this wasn't happening. It wasn't true. And kind of more like stunned on the situation, you know what I'm saying? Walking up the stairs, and then she's sitting there with some scrub.
What are you doing?
Man, I love the
don't-
fashions of
Yeah,
the 90s.
I think it's the one after this one, baby.
The one after, what you mean?
Yeah, because remember this is a black woman.
I'm not done.
Okay.
It will.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is right. I know I'm playing the right clip.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I played the show. You just, you know what I'm saying.
No, my woman's place.
I know where I got my clips from.
We playing our role, shot it. Guys
What's
on.
going on, Pimp? Say, Pimp, don't put your hand on me, though. You know what I'm talking about? Don't put your hand on me, though. You ain't got nothing to do with this, huh? You ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm talking to her, bro.
Then I wouldn't even, trying to, have a conflict with that cat because it wasn't his fault. I'm being real on it, I ain't got no problem with no other male, you know what I'm saying, hollering at my temple.
Shout out to Mel. This nigga is so southern. Listen, people always say I'm tired of female. That just basically means bitch. He said, hey, I call other men male when I don't respect them.
Right.
Which also probably means bitch.
Right. That's what
being
this
real.
feeling for.
I ain't got no problem with no other male, you know what I'm saying, hollering at my tender.
My tender!
Come on, tenderoni and neroni, it's all right.
Holla at my tender, boy.
It's on her. That's why I was trying to approach her first. But then that cat want, keep on running at the mouth.
Say, I need to holler at you, though.
Now he getting kind of handsy. And this is a calling card of cheaters, especially during this era. Very little security. Like they was willing to let you get a swing in or a push or a shove or grab somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then after like a second, then security would be like, hey, you can't choke a woman on live TV. Come on now.
What you mean? Say, bro. Say, like I said, you need to keep your hands off me, though. Like I said, I need to talk to you, though.
That's funny because she also said, I got this, and told dude to back off. But now look how handsy he getting. That dude was trying to help.
Let me holler at you. Pushing out for?
Like I say, I ain't supposed to have no female cheating on me. And then I'm doing all, what I'm supposed to do, going to work, coming home. We going out every now and then. And then she, turn around and she giving the booty to some other cat. Nah, it ain't going down like that. I can't have it. That's only my booty. Nobody else's booty.
There for you, but you.
That line too was also classic. That's only my booty, nobody else's booty. I also saved that line.
Still standing in my house.
Abusive towards me.
How am I abusive to you?
I'm tired of your ass.
You tired of me?
Yes.
I like how she did not back down. She's an unrepentant cheater, but she said you're abusive towards me, and I'm like, you have been like putting your hands on her, and there's cameras around. I don't want to know what happens when there's no cameras.
Right.
Hey, what you mean? How you tired of me? Huh? How you tired of me? Huh?
No more.
What you mean? What you taking, huh?
When I got
Damn, Ralph Trezor just went to the car. I guess he leaving.
home, oh man, I thought it was the Mardi Gras because I had all her clothes in the front yard. You know what I'm talking
Not the
about?
Mardi
This is also a classic. Only people that's in the chat or on YouTube gonna see this part. But watch his hand motion.
Like confetti. I'm just, yeah. I got all her.
Oh. That's hilarious. This dude is hilarious. I mean, you gotta give it to
in
him.
the front yard. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like confetti. I'm just, yeah. I'm getting I got all her stuff out the house, ASAP. I wasn't for it. You know what I'm saying? She calling police. Yeah. I'm like, no, you don't get none of this. Her name went on the lease. You know what I'm talking about? Got everything in my mama day. She can't get none of that.
I'm done talking to you.
Like I said, I ain't.
Of course, you gotta have your fight.
Of course.
Now, why this man jumped on this dude's hood of his car? Who paying for that damage? I don't know. But security had to get there fast as possible.
Come on, get some.
Oh, playing field is magnificent, man. Snow bunnies everywhere now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes I'm on a ski trip, and because I ain't never pulled so many before. It's like I go to these clubs down here in downtown, and it's like snow bunny heaven. Blonde hair, brunette hair. Hey, sometimes I go for the freaky one, the purple blue, hair. I like the Carcasian girls. They like to feel on me. I like to feel on them. Double D's, hey, That's what it is.
The amount of cooning that just is encapsulated in that fit, I honestly think that might be the record. Like that might that might eclipse the previous record holder.
For me, because there's some hot white out here tonight. And now, hey Alfonso, now I gotta say, listen, I have been known to fuck some white girls in my lifetime. Yeah! Okay, now I have spent my life on some TMZ, and every time you see me in a club, guess who I walk out with? Who? A lovely blonde white chick.
I don't know why, but there's nothing funnier than to me, and I know it's fucked up, but
Right.
there's nothing funnier to me than some nigga obsessed with white women as if they are just like this exotic, put on a pedestal delight, like they aren't part and parcel of white supremacy too. Like it's not programming. Like it's
like
not.
they're not human beings or people. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's
people
so
too.
so just by the merits of being a white woman, suddenly they can do no fucking wrong. It's insane, but it also tickles me to death. I know it's got to be insulting and all that other shit. I'm not,
Right. I would be
Yeah.
insulted as a white woman.
but it's fucking. It's like a lot of racism. It doesn't make sense. So it's my brain processes it. It's funny because it's like you let that come out of your mouth. Hey, you know, I thought I was on the ski slopes. There was so many snow bunnies. You're like, what is happening? And that was unprovoked. Like, it's not like the Cheaters crew asked him, like, so how's dating white women?
They was like, keep it rolling.
Yeah, of course. Well, I got everything. Anyway, we got emails. Let's finish this off strong with some emails. Simone actually sent us a gift. Says, thank you for always making me laugh. Y'all always have some cool stuff on your wish list. And that radio feels very summer power outage / The Walking Dead ready. I'm ordering for myself too. Enjoy it. Oh, I didn't even see the radio. But we did get a package in the mail. I got it, shouty. Let me see what's in this package here.
Yeah, because we know to do these last.
Yeah, but since the email
Right.
was, and it's just for me anyway. It's not for you.
What?
I got everything in my
Mama's name. I don't know my road. My bad, y'all.
Your name ain't on it, Karen.
I'm sorry. I need to know my road.
Maybe if you was a Caucasian, I'd give you some. So okay, we have these safe grabs, which is for taking hot shit out of like microwaves and pots and pans and stuff like that. So I know I'll definitely be using it because my greedy ass, man, that's one of my biggest ways that I end up getting burned is something that's hot in the microwave.
And I go to
I can't help myself. I'm like, I got to get it. The Pop-Tart's not they're gonna be too cold if I wait that minute. So thank you for these.
Yes.
And then in this box here, there's something else that okay, it's like it's like a radio. Like I guess if you know the power go out, it's it's a radio and flashlight. Just some survival shit. And you can crank it up with your by winding it like that and then turn it on.
So we have it's out somewhere and
the power is out.
We can keep it trucking.
Wow. All right, cool. Can't wait to next time the power's out, the party don't gotta stop. Turn on the radio.
Yeah, the party ain't
get
gotta
some
stop.
Flashlights going and sex all night. You know what I'm saying? I know you know what I'm saying. I got everything in my mama.
I guess I won't be playing my road then. No, because you know what happened when the power go out? It gets hot up in this bitch. I'm good.
Well, you know who would be okay with it? A Caucasian. They wouldn't have no problems like that.
I like the Caucasian girls. They like to feel on me. I like to feel on them. Double D's. Hey, That's what it is.
They would have issues with it too. I know I would.
Anytime I see a white car on the street, I'm gonna call it a Carcasian now.
Yes, Carcasian.
Like, oh, that's a Carcasian. Oh, it is what it is. And Karen, I don't care. Even if the power go out, I don't care how hot it is.
Then she turn around and she giving the booty to some other cat. Nah, it ain't going down like that. I can't have it. That's only my booty. Nobody else's booty.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What the hell wrong with you?
Shanda writes in, hey, Rod and Karen, I have followed and absolutely loved your podcast since the Game of Thrones recaps days. Nobody did it like y'all. As Karen would say, those recaps were flames. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming House of the Dragon sequel and was wondering if you plan to recap. With all the premium shows, y'all already give us much more amazing content than we deserve, so I understand if adding House of the Dragon recaps is not feasible, but a girl can dream, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, love the show. Love y'all. Thanks for all you do, Shanda.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Shonda. Okay. Pronounced like Wanda. Got it.
Yeah. Because this is something that me and Roger had talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And so far it's a yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes back, this show right here, we will be recapping it. So I'm really excited and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to going down the road again. And I know a lot of the audience is excited. And so the answer to your question is yes.
Yeah, we do plan to recap it. I don't know if we'll have as many guests and stuff like that like we had last time.
Right.
Just because scheduling and timing and stuff, and also we don't even know who's gonna be like fucking with it like that.
Yeah,
so
you're right, because a lot of people are like, I'm done with it, whatever the case may be. So the audience may or may not be small. I don't know, but we will be recapping it.
Yep. So House of the Dragon, we back. Let's go. Enough time passed that I actually am like, I feel good about this, as opposed to in the past is honestly the last season. And I'm not talking about the show, but the fans and the fan base around it. It got to be such a toxic fan base and so negative. It was
right.
It was like there was a competition to be the most negative person towards the show, and that vibe turned me off in general towards the whole concept of Game of Thrones. But it's been enough time that I'm like, all right, I'm back. Let's go. Merrick whips it out. This is from John, who says, good morning, Rod and Karen. Rod, is there room in the end zone for me to join your Merrick Garland end zone dance? I'm white and not a great dancer, but I am a drummer, so I live on the 2s or 4s. That's better than me. I can't dance. Let's go. God damn, what a week. I don't know what made me happier, seeing the news of the raid or Garland calling Trump's bluff about unsealing the warrant, or watching all these motherfuckers who whined about Garland for 18 months suddenly stammering, moving the goalposts, or just saying nothing.
Right.
Karen, when you said that Garland has a soft voice and a big dick, I nearly lost it. Did y'all see the news this morning that the Southern Baptist Convention was announced that they also under investigation by the DOJ? Garland apparently wants everyone to know he's the white Lexington Steel. Yeah, dog. Go get their ass.
Go get them.
And then there's the charges against Breonna Taylor's killers. Barb McQuay had a tweet about how this was a really new and smart way of trying to hold these officers accountable. Our laws are so pro-police in general that once a civilian gun is involved, it's almost impossible to convict officers. But by focusing on why they were there in the first place and questioning the no-knock warrant, DOJ has a real shot of actually putting these fuckers away. It's the kind of move that shows Garland's DOJ takes this shit seriously. Not just that. I was reading this morning, or maybe it was yesterday morning, but one of the officers is already prepared to enter a guilty plea, which means probably, one, they're going to get off the lightest, quote unquote, of the people, which means that makes so much sense when he was doing that press conference. And he was like, here's the timeline of events. Because I was like, how did he get that timeline? Because like, you need some inside information to know that they sat in a garage and came up with a story to spin all this shit. They have legally obtained the warrant in the first place. You need to know somebody that was intimately involved. It's like, oh, someone's already cutting a plea deal. She snitched. And now it makes sense. But yeah, maybe this was a no-brainer since these cops seem to have a pretty openly conspiring with their fuckery. But either way, it shows that Garland's DOJ is here to figure out workarounds for our very pro-police justice system, completely the opposite of what all the haters have been saying all this time about him. Not to mention that it was settled. And I don't mean it was settled with her family, with black people in general, people that generally, I mean in the American way that unsettled things get settled. Where it's just like enough time passed, we ain't gotta talk about that no more. You know, in a world where they're fucking taking away learning about racism in our classrooms, people had moved on to just another black person that ain't getting justice. Right. And I hope every last fucking officer is shook in some of these other cases where they clearly did not get punished or truly investigated in a scrutinized way, or where they had political allies that ran cover for them. I really hope they are shook. I hope they're not sleeping tonight. On a related note, Rod, when you say you had friends texting you in the middle of the night freaking out about that Garland wasn't going to do anything in regards to Trump, my first thought was you could just say Randolph, LOL. Well, it's not just Randolph though. I think I don't think people understand, man. This MSNBC shit is, or just this cable news shit, it's everybody. It's insidious. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, my friends who still consume that are the conversations I have with them and the conversations I have with people that don't are completely different. And it's one of the things that keeps me from going back is that, oh man, I remember living in this anxiety, hoping that the news was going to tell me something to help me figure it out. And all it felt like they were doing was giving me another reason to watch through commercials. P.S. Thanks for opening my eyes to this trend of fine ass black women newscasters. Now I'll never be able to unsee it, and I wouldn't want to either. Much appreciated. Cheers and stay safe, John. It's uncanny.
Right?
Honestly, ugly people have a class action lawsuit against the news, and we need to we need to encapsulate. We need to move on this, because it don't make no sense that the only way a black woman can get a job in the news is to be fine as fuck. And clearly, that's what's happening. The standard is not the same for any other people on the news. Thank you and thoughts. See, this is from Cass Always. Hey Rod, hey Karen and Rod. Okay, I see you woke. It's been forever since I've written into the feedback show, but I wanted to give y'all flowers for this year so far. The shows have been great, and they definitely have gotten me through a rough season. Thank you. As far as the topics this week, a conversation on the Mar-a-Lago search had me going. I've been having an internal battle between laughing and bubbling over rage at the reactions to the warrant search of Trump's house. The amount of hypocrisy makes me want to fight people who are on our side, quote unquote. They called Merrick Garland every kind of weak bitch before he even confirmed. He was even confirmed up until last week, but now he's doing too much, wrapping the flag of abolition around Trump for a show. Crazy, foolish, and ridiculous. Yes, that's the other thing. When he got the job, they were trying to play him. They should have went with Doug Jones. I'm like, first of all, it's another white man, so stop acting like that's the radical choice or some shit. Two, Merrick be on the white supremacist ass. Read his raps. Come on now.
He does not care for him.
There are people, activists, and media personnel who know better. They are still playing games in these investigations, and it's only compounded on all the other BS tearing down this administration and the Democratic Party right now. The silence from some people around the recent wins by this administration, wins that include policies they told us need to be priorities, is telling. Too many folks on our side make too much money off of cynicism, criticism, and apathy. Yes! And they are selling us out to a clear and present danger, not just Trump, but to his sycophants in the House and Senate. SCOTUS is already fucked, and folks want to hand deliver the other branches of government in a basket with a nice card. Yes.
Come on.
Yes, I feel that is 100%. I feel that exactly. Like the fact that they racked up these wins over the last couple of weeks, and you don't see people celebrating it and even low-key kind of hating to see Democrat. It's like they hate that there's nothing they can say about these wins that would truly resonate, because the American populace that has been rooting for this shit are like, oh no, these are positive things. There's
and this is what I wanted.
And they just move it to like, but what about this?
Like, bitch, don't nobody care about that. We need this to actually sit in the moment, because these are the same people who talk about they don't never do nothing done. Okay, they do shit, well then talk about it.
Yeah, or they don't celebrate their wins. Democrats are
Right.
bad. They just don't know how to like celebrate their wins and stuff. It's like, well, they're doing that now, and you're mad. I can't even tell y'all how angry I was when these same folks turned on Stacey Abrams for having to defend her campaign from accusations of radicalism and police abolition. I remember in 2020 when folks were using her to pit against Kamala Harris for the VP position. And someone sagely pointed out they would be very disappointed they ever found out Abrams' views on police and drug policy. 2 years later, here we are with a progressive but practical, experienced politician who has had to wade through a theory she never promoted, on top of extreme voter suppression by the extremist right currently in power in Georgia. She quite literally wrote the book, too, in fact, on how to win Georgia, and they are telling her how to run her campaign and who is doing the groundwork in the communities to get people ready for this society where laying such critique at her feet is at least credible. The ousting of these progressive DAs is seemingly progressive districts has me very worried about people using a defund position as a measuring stick for candidates, especially when the people, including our own people, aren't fully bought in. Yeah, and there seems to not be a lot of there doesn't seem to be a lot of effort in getting people to buy in. It's like, other than the bully pulpit of social media, which is one based on ostracization. So of course, stuff seems like it's working on the internet in the same way that on our show, or specifically, I know for me, there's certain things I don't like to get in with a bunch of people on. Like in this case, I'll use the example of celebrity shit. I don't like to pile on the Chris Pratt or Aquafina and shit, partially because I don't think the things they've done are as egregious as people say they are. And in some cases, I don't even think they're egregious at all. But the biggest part of that is I can look at my social media and tell how many of these people are just cowards who don't want to be on the outside of the group, quote unquote. So if the group is saying we all have to love something, then we all better love it. If the group is saying we all have to hate something, we all better hate it. Even if it's subjective, even if the things that they provide as evidence don't really pass the evidence test, I have to, or else I don't get to be the cool friend. And they're gonna comment, they're gonna say something, they're gonna not like me, and that pressure is on people, even as adults. We always put it on kids, but a lot of adults are in this. And part of the thing with that the Russians and the bots figured out with social media is the appearance of peer pressure, right? The appearance of groupthink. So they go, Kamala Harris is a cop, she's an op. And all of a sudden, you got black people scared to not be on the in group. Yeah, she a op. I never hated her. I never liked her. She always, I don't know. And it's like, well, you can just look at your posts from the last 2 years and see you loved her during all the committees where she was grilling the fuck out of Trump people. You love that. We can see, if we can just look at her track record and see the context for the decisions she's made and see that they're not as bad as the people online are saying they are. Some of them are even the opposite of what they're saying. But you're afraid to be the person who says nah, right? And so that's a big thing when you're online a lot. And I think that's why tools such as use this hashtag or else, don't question it, don't, right? Or else you're my enemy, you're on the other side, you're pro police or something like that. That shit is starting to not work anymore, because people, one, the luxury is not there anymore after Trump. Like, people just don't have time to play those games. Two, we figured out a lot of these games and stuff like these aren't real people. These are false online movements, or things are embellished online. And then number three, the most important one, the legwork hasn't been done on the ground. I don't go into communities that are like, we don't want to have, or go into. I am a black person living in this world, adjacent to several other communities, my family, my friends, my people. I don't know these places where people are like, we just don't want any cops. Right. We just don't want any jail, any prison, because a lot of times the people that we're talking about are people that are, if you're a hardworking voting person, you're more than likely have been a victim of some of this shit. Mm-hmm. And what you don't want to hear is, there's nothing to be done about this. We're going to invest in schools, and hopefully 20 years from now, we'll see the results. Like, people are like, yeah, but in the meantime, my car was stolen.
Right. It was broken into.
So, what are we going to do about this?
Today, like right now, what are we going to do about this right now?
So, yeah, that's why I think a lot of times when you see like a politician pivot away from like, or not even pivot away, have to do a full blown, I'm not with the defund movement. It's literally because the defund movement hasn't been moving offline enough so that it's a winnable strategy.
Correct.
Like you can't win on that in Georgia. I'm sure Stacey Abrams knows more than some motherfucker on Twitter living in another state that ain't did no groundwork and met nobody anywhere. I'm sure she knows more than them. But yeah, that buy-in is the work that organizers could be doing. Instead, they're laying their disappointment at the feet of people actually willing to run to create change. I was just as angry earlier this summer when the same folks called Hillary corrupt for giving money to a very broke 2015 Democratic Party and then acted a complete fool behind Democrats fundraising from the constituency around pressing current issues like gun violence. The hypocrisy. How do people expect them to win these elections when they have to fight apathy on one side and a well-funded cult on the other? And then they get the big wins in spite of the reluctant constituency. They can't even get legitimate coverage. God forbid people on the ground take up the cause of spreading the word. Those people are labeled fans and sheep or of the politicians at party or equated to the very obvious cult of Trump. Yeah, it's that false objectivity, that false equivalency that keeps happening. And it's all about like this signaling to other people, like, I'm too cool to be pro whatever the Democrats are doing. I'm so above it. I'm so different. And most of the time it's just covering the fact that folks are low information.
Yes.
I didn't learn anything. I don't know anything. I'm just going to say some really cool shit that is cool because it's detached from everything. It's like I was listening to this podcast where they're talking about Clarence Thomas, and the only thing I didn't like about the podcast is it seemed like a white dude and a black guy. But every like hour of the show, it seemed like they had to take a shot at Joe Biden for some reason. It's like you're covering Clarence Thomas and the fucking GOP, the Supreme Court. I don't know that Joe Biden needs, like, any of this needs to be about Joe Biden's age or whatever. And to the point where it's like, oh wait, you are doing that because you're a bit scared that your 4 hours on this man being terrible will make you seem like I'm in the camp with the Democrats. But no, I'm not. The liberals is just as racist to me. It's like, bullshit. It's not true. It's not that there's no liberal racism, but it's not equal. And there's really no point to bring it up other than to hopefully appease some right-wing person or somebody else who thinks you're getting a little too comfortable. Anyway. Somehow we become too cool to promote our victories or support policies, politicians, and or the party without a billion qualifications and hesitations. Meanwhile, President Biden has had more wins more wins for more than a few weeks, but folks are leaning heavy on the no one really wants this old man in office. Meanwhile, VP Harris has been crossing the country, leading state and local politicians in concerted efforts to oppose abortion restraints, meeting with Black organizations in a non-presidential election year, holding committees on disability, leading foreign relations trips, breaking ties in the Senate on policy, administration appointments and judges, etc. And there are progressive talking heads stuck in the echo chamber about where she is. I'm especially embarrassed by Black folks doing this because who raised and or forgot to raise you niggas? Yeah, that's that peer pressure online now, and those are their peers.
That's some shit you can probably Google, and they're like, nope.
I mean, the thing is, like, especially with Twitter, like, it definitely leans towards your literate, educated, middle class type of Black person. And when you look at that archetype of Blackness, a lot of times there's like an acceptance and from whiteness that we're constantly looking for, or that we need, or some justification or something, like we need to signal towards white people to be included, whether it be for academic, money, whether it be academic, financial, or just like social gain. It pays to be one of these niggas that get in enough with white people that they go, okay, they can make it. They can hop on over here with us. It's the reason that, Killer Mike will be on Bill Maher's podcast, Bill Maher's TV show, but they're not just letting any nigga on there. You know what I mean? You need to signal towards certain points of view that they go, okay, we need to get, this guy's not like the others. And I think people are competing for that shit on social media a lot. So you have that type of like, like I said, when I listened to that podcast, and you could kind of hear like whenever certain topics of race came up, it was like you look over to the black dude like, right, you co-sign this, right, that Democrats just as bad, or that Joe Biden's terrible, right? We agree. All right, cool. All right, now as a white guy I can move on. And then I think a lot of black people kind of want to tune in and be that, to be like that guy that goes, okay, you can keep the party moving, but I ain't scared of these honkies, so fuck them. I'll tell them to their face. Like I don't care about being that cool. I know what the fuck I experienced in my life, and no, Republicans and Democrats not the same.
Right.
And no, I don't want no motherfucking Republicans in charge of nothing. Anyways, I'm just hoping this constant simmering rage is more of a Hulk make me stronger situation rather than a hypertension one, because I already see the 2024 stupidity coming. Preparing by entrenching in reasonable commentary, jokes, and Beyonce music. I'm going to do the things I can to help good candidates and assist voters. I just don't have much else to give the rest of these folks in the way of patience. Woo, that was a lot, and I'm hopping all over the place in my frustration. Y'all just get me hyped up with these conversations. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great weekend, Cass always. Thank you for writing in.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'm glad we inspire people to write in, and we've been doing it for years now, and it's cool to be able to have a show that we can do feedback on, because we get enough of y'all charged up to write. So thank you, everybody. That's it for this week. We'll be back.
That or no?
Oh no, that's my personal stuff.
Oh, my bad. No, I didn't know. My bad.
I don't. Yeah, that's my personal stuff.
No problem.
So all right, y'all. That's it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Until next time. Peace, and I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody.